I'll tell you, people, this is going to be a long series. I'm about halfway through the article, so it's going to be a long series, but a lot of good information. I'll try to not make it dull. I'm not going to make a fool out of myself, but maybe I might be able to throw some dry, sarcastic wit in there every now and then. Oh, yeah, I've been doing that. Well, let's go on with the Continental Congress and what they came up with. Article number 5, Privacy in the Fourth Amendment, footnote 5. From November the 11th to the 22nd of 2009, the Continental Congress convened pursuant to the people's formal petition of redress of grievances relating to the violation of the people's rights of privacy guaranteed to them under the Fourth, the Fifth, the Ninth. Oh, what about the 14th Amendment? After deliberation and discussion of the abuses of the rights to privacy, and this body provides. All right, now one thing, get this out here, right here clear. For all people, you have a right to expect privacy in your home. If you're out in public, you have no right to expect privacy because you're out in public. I know that's a little stink, but hey, it is what it is. And that's how they're getting around things as far as this biometric face scanner and all the other stuff they're coming up with. Because, I mean, look at London. I mean, watch some of those videos about how many damn TV cameras they've got up everywhere. I mean, I watched one tonight, and a person is on film at least 300 times a day. 300 times. Wow, is their crime rate that bad in England that they need that? And what about all those cameras they put in people's homes? What was it, 50,000 closed circuit TVs to just ensure that they're good parents? Why was there suspicion upon them at all? If there was, which I doubt. I mean, how do you all of a sudden have 50,000 people who are not good parents? Why would you even bother with the cameras to ensure that they're good parents? Give the kids to good parents. Or don't put them in places like where I was at, where they're brutalized and victimized, stripped, thrown into isolation, but give them a good nurturing environment. Because I haven't heard this mentioned. Haven't heard it anywhere. But here's the bottom line. What's the greatest resource any nation has? Can you answer me that? I'm going to take a minute here so I can puff on a cigarette and for you to ponder on that for a minute. Again, what is the greatest resource any nation has? All right, 2 puffs. I'm good to go. The greatest resource any nation has is the people and the minds and the will of said people of the nation. Because from those people can come the salvation or the destruction of their nation. That is our greatest resource, is our people, the people's knowledge, the youth of the country. That's our wealth. And that's why we have to ensure that they start getting a really good education. I mean, Christ, we're so far down the totem pole. And I've seen the slip in my lifetime. I mean, we were amongst the top nations of the world, and now we're down almost 30th? 27th, I think, is what we are right now. What has happened? Why has there not been any outcry from any parents who have school children? Why is nobody challenging this false education system? Again, I want to state that I think that the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and civic duty should be mandated. It should be a mandatory course, not just in grade school, but as well as high school and college. It should be a must take course. That way, there's no excuse from exposure from three different levels of the educational system. So nobody can claim ignorance or dereliction of their duty because they don't know. They will know. And here's another thing I want to throw in. I don't know how anybody that belongs to any militia may feel about this. I'm just a lone guy sitting here in my little apartment. I don't interact with people. I don't play nicely. But this is what I would do. I would also, maybe not the full word for word as I learned it, but the military code of military justice. And so that can be adhered to as a structure, a framework to build the militias upon. Now, you might want to change it a little bit because the structure and the organization will be a little bit different. But still, the military code of criminal justice should be something that everybody, and it should be mandatory for everybody in our country to perform a civic duty of defending the country. I'm not saying like Obama with the forced labor camps or the working for months for $500. No, I'm not saying that. You can still get a regular pay grade and do what has to be done, or it can be all voluntary. Enough people understand how extreme the need is for this to happen. If we don't get cohesion as a whole, as a nation, we will not survive. It's that blunt, people. Oh, Christ, I've whittled away too much time again. I'm almost at 8 minutes. All right. On my blog site, my blog spot, it's also in my About Me. The code for the military justice is on my I'll put it in the info box. It's already on my link About Me. I've got 2 websites listed there for 2 of my blogs. The third I'm leaving in reserve. I have the military code of criminal justice. I have the Constitution, and it's in legible form. It isn't as it was written in pen. So there's no excuse for somebody not being able to read it and understand it. The only thing I might add to trying to understand the Constitution as it was written, it's obvious from Robert's Rules of Engagement as far as how everything's being done, which I think is a right pain in the ass. How about just showing each other respect? And, there's got to be a certain order, but not to the extreme of that, where they get tied up into the details of Robert's Rules of Engagement. It's a little extreme and takes up too much time, and it's not productive. So there would be structure, and there would be discipline. There would be cohesion as a whole, because the locals would be training together. So everybody would know the other's strengths and weaknesses, and you compensate as a unit. It's got to be a unit without thought. You are your brother's keeper.